Hi long range hunting, welcome to episode 35 of our terminal ballistic testing, hunting versus match bullets. Now welcome back everybody. Today I have something very special for you, something that I've been hinting at but I haven't really talked about. And this is something that me and a couple buddies were talking about. We haven't really seen any of it. And that has to do with long range muzzle loaders. Now there are new muzzle loaders that are being custom built that shoot smokeless powder and you can do long range with. They're specifically designed for that. But we haven't seen anything as far as those bullets being put through ballistic gelatin for tests. Until now. Now luckily a buddy of mine, John, actually has one. This is a custom built rifle built off a 700 action, and he was nice enough to meet up with me and have a little bit of fun, test these out, and we're going to continue to test this. This is going to be something that we're going to continue going down the road with different projectiles and at different distances. Today we started at 100 yards for this particular test, and we'll get to that in a second, but real quick I got to give a shout out. Now the guys that have been watching this channel for a while know that a while back a buddy of mine, we kind of have a thing going where I sent him a really funny mug saying he's the world's okayest hunter. He sent me a shirt that says that he taught me how to drink whiskey and hunt or shoot, one of the two, I can't remember, but here's the shirt. And he struck again, but this time he recruited help. And so I got this in the mail. Pretty comical. I really liked getting it in the mail. It was pretty hilarious. The addressing though was the icing on the cake. Now they were watching a video together at work and saw that, I'd been talking about penetration, and she made a joke of, how many times is he going to say penetration? So they addressed it like this. I got great friends. So it was pretty funny. I appreciate it. It gives me a good laugh. So I'd like to thank Piper Hot Stuff Lockwood and Jim Fruity Loops Mathis for this wonderful shirt and a good laugh. So appreciate it, guys. This shirt will get featured quite a bit. As long, the other one too. I love both of these shirts. They're hilarious. They're good conversation pieces. So thanks again. But let's dive into the field and check out this muzzle loader. All right, we're out here today. We're doing some gel tests with a surprise 2 guests and a surprise treat. We're doing a long-range muzzle loader today. We've got our good friend John out here. John, good-looking Fabian. And we've got Dewey here. We couldn't get Huey and Louie here, but we got him.
Just one of the 3 ducklings.
Yeah. So we're doing a muzzle loader today. What's the specs on this?
This is a 45 cal, shoots a 275 grain flat base, something or other, whatever bullet it is.
Parker?
I think that's what it is.
Parker Productions?
Yeah, I probably ought to do my research on the bullet a little bit better than that, but 68 grains, a 4198, should be about 3,000 foot per second. We'll see if we can bust your table in half, probably.
All right, well, let's get to it. I'd call that a hit.
Yeah, I think that was a pretty good shot right there.
All right, well, let's clear and let's go check her out.
Let's go check it out, man.
All right, let's evaluate the damage here. So we had a pretty good start. That initial, it'll be interesting to see the video on the transfer, but I mean, I'm not sure if it shed. There's the tip right there. And then it pretty much just penciled through the rest of the gel and then came through and stopped right here. So it went, I mean, a couple inches short.
Here's your entry.
Yeah. I mean, that's 16 inches. This is another 16 inches. So I went.
She went a ways.
This is actually pretty flat.
Yeah.
Now, there seems to be a piece over here too.
Yeah.
So I'm not sure if it started tumbling or what. I mean, kind of surprising. I thought I would have done a lot more.
Kind of would have too.
This is actually a pretty thick jacket though, to be honest. I mean, if you look at it, that's a decent.
Thick. Well, I could say that buck, it almost looked like it whistled through that damn thing, but I mean, sure knocked.
Well, I mean, that's what's matching the gel.
Right. I mean, it knocked it on. I mean, it's dead. I mean,
Yeah, but I mean, even a full metal jacket will kill with proper shot
yeah,
placement.
I know.
But I mean, this.
And I mean, the accuracy's obviously there. I mean,
Yeah.
I mean, this is plenty of resistance to open up bullets. So, I mean,
it took a foot for that to open up.
yeah.
Oh, so that's the entry.
This is the entry right here.
Okay, so, and then if you look, yeah, so it took almost a whole gel block to even start to open up.
Yeah.
And I actually wonder if it was simply that it started tumbling at that point. Because if we look at this,
Blow sideways or something.
yeah,
That's a big hole.
it's an elongated hole.
Yep.
Yeah.
It was tumbling at that point, so it actually didn't.
Yeah, I don't know. We might have to.
So it didn't actually mushroom, and that explains the bend in this.
Yeah.
It simply started tumbling and coming apart.
Yep.
So, I mean, that's not what you want from something like
not
this.
really. I mean, I really
I mean,
expected it to do better than that.
It means it's not expanding. It's not getting shoulder stabilization. I mean,
Well, we can get some different stuff and try it. I'm
Yeah.
waiting for that. Because I mean, that right there, that buck I shot, that explains it right
Yeah.
there. Because I never did. It's like I found a small hole in. It wasn't no blood or nothing.
Yeah.
And then I thought I could see kind of an exit. You know, I didn't cut the thing open or nothing, but
Right.
it didn't act like it was all busted
Messed
inside.
up.
Yeah, it's like it didn't.
not
blow
like
up
it was
or
getting
nothing.
hit by that
Right.
big of a bullet.
It's probably just the damn shock of the things. Like,
Right.
I give up.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, that's interesting. I had it backwards when I was looking at it, but yeah, we'll have to get the tip out of there and everything. But yeah, that took the majority, the 3/4 of the block before it started look like tumbling and the
Yep.
tip came off there.
Yeah.
We'll have to get the other pieces out of
That's
here.
exactly what happened. That's why
Yeah.
it shed the tip off of it.
Yeah.
Yep.
No.
Well.
Well, let's I'll have to film back at the back home and, you know, go through the rest and show the footage on any transfer of energy or anything that was there, but we're going to get set up for the next one, so. Now that we're back, let's talk about this. Now, there's a reason why I don't really talk in the field that much about performance when I'm doing gel. It's because there's so much more than just looking at the gel block. It can be a little hard to tell on some stuff. One, I've got to watch the energy transfer, and there's a lot of things in slow motion you can pick up that you're not going to see just looking at a gel block. Sometimes you get stuff switched around too. It's kind of hard to look. The video doesn't lie. On this one, I actually originally flipped the gel block around when I was thinking which way was the entry, just had a brain fart. But ultimately what happened is that bullet did not expand. That projectile went in, and as you can see, it went straight through, and it looks like a bigger cavity. That's because it's a massive bullet. That is a very large bullet. That's not it expanding. That's just from the pure diameter of the projectile. And that thing was cooking. It hit at 2,800 feet per second. And again, that's a muzzle loader. So it went in and it went through most of that block just going straight. And then you see what looks like an energy transfer and you see some wounding. What happened was that projectile actually started to tumble. It started to turn over. It went sideways and it hit the second gel block sideways. Now, I've talked about it before, but in case anybody doesn't know, you never want to pay attention to the second gel block, the catch block, as far as the terminal performance. The reason being is the initial block, you have that displacement and materials moving out of the way. And once it exits and hits the secondary block, it's hitting a brand new block that hasn't had that. And so it's full, brand new. It's like hitting the second animal after it's exited the first. And so you're going to have a lot more surface contact than the original block. So that first one's going to go and open up, and then it's going to crush through. When it's hitting the second one, whether it's sideways or whether it's expanded, you're having far more surface area. And so by the time it gets to the second block, it's already through that animal. And unless you're hitting another animal, it really doesn't matter. So focus on the first block. Now, normally I do the hide and meat. As always, I always seem to forget something, and this time I forgot that. To be fair, I had several videos I'm doing. I did 4 videos that I filmed. I was working with a guy, Dewey actually, the guy that was there, on doing some shooting, doing a tripod review, doing the trigger cam review. So there's a lot going on. I had about 300 pounds worth of equipment and a truck full of stuff to do and bouncing in between. So it gets a little chaotic, but I forgot that. So instead of doing the normal cut to a specific size for that animal with meat and hide, instead I just use an entire gel block because I forgot that to make it a little bit better on that. So we use the whole gel block on this. We had the catch blocks. This is not what you want though. Now, we're going to dive into what's called shoulder stabilization. Now, we're going to talk about a couple different things here to explain what happened. Realistically, it's kind of hard to describe, and I can, but to make sure that there's no issues, I'm going to show this video real quick. This is from Gunworks YouTube channel. I'm going to put a link in the description below. That's not my video, but it is one of the best videos out there of this animated diagram to show what shoulder stabilization is.
When a bullet impacts a vital target, it is no longer stabilized by spinning. The target medium is much more dense than air and would require an impossible increase in spin rate to maintain point-forward flight. Fortunately, bullets are designed to mushroom on impact. The new shape of the bullet causes high-velocity displacement of tissue and wound cavities larger than bullet diameter. The forces on the front of the bullet maintain a balance for straight-line penetration called shoulder stabilization. Additional stabilization is added by the balancing of forces caused by tissue moving past the body of the bullet. The initial shape of the bullet is dependent on bullet design and impact velocity, 2 very important factors in terminal performance.
Now that is a phenomenal video covering it, and shoulder stabilization is very important. Well, when a bullet does not expand, it does not achieve that. And then you go into what's called necking over. And that is where that bullet is going to start to turn. It's because it's not stable. And so what's going to happen is that thing's going to change directions and or tumble. And that is not what you want. That is a bad thing. It can turn directions, go into different places. So that's really not what you want to happen. This one absolutely failed to perform. If you look at it, there's lead and stuff that got squeezed out. That's something you'll see with like full metal jackets. And effectively, that's what it acted like, a big ass full metal jacket. But that last part, that displacement you saw, was just simply from the surface contact of a large object. But that is not what you want. And looking at this, it actually has quite a thicker jacket than I expected for that, which is part of the reason that it didn't have enough resistance to expand. But something I want to point out on this is bullet construction design is critical. And just because it has a tip doesn't mean that it's going to perform well. You can have bullets that perform well and ones that don't. This one did not perform, and it should have. That was a high impact velocity. It was close range. But something a lot of people don't understand is gel, a lot of people that don't like results they see will try to put down gel as it doesn't work. It absolutely works. And that's why it's the gold standard for testing projectiles. If you listened, we were talking about a deer he shot, and it was the exact same thing. He shot that deer at 225 yards. Exact same results as what we saw here. Minimal damage. Now, shot placement does kill. You can, even when a bullet fails to perform, if you put it in the right spot, it can kill. And that was ultimately what happened. Now here's the thing. With any bullet's performance in its operational range, the lower you go inside that operational range of impact velocity, the less performance you're going to get. So if you look at your wound cavity at high velocity, the lower the velocity you go, the smaller that's going to get, and the more penetration you're going to get prior to opening up. You're going to get less expansion. And so if this is failing to open up at 100 yards and on an animal at 225 yards, out at longer ranges where this is designed to be, it's not going to do well. I've never really messed with the Parker production bullets. I've heard about them, but again, never messed with them. So we're actually going to test some new bullets. He's got some new bullets on the way we're going to test out in gel. But also we are going to revisit this. And so a lot of people like to do high shoulder shots. So we want to see by actually adding bone into the equation to see with an actual shoulder what would happen if you did a high shoulder shot on a deer and see how much that changes. Because if it opens up, that's a whole nother story. It's a very large diameter projectile, and if it opens up, it should dump a lot of energy, especially at those higher impact velocities. But just based on the gel, and that would be like a standard behind the shoulder shot, a chest shot, you're not going to get anything good. I mean, his penciled right through, including hitting bone. So these are not bullets that I recommend. The muzzle loaders, the long range ones, you know, I've got buddies that have had huge success with them. They love them. But this bullet right now, from what we're seeing, both in the field and the gel, I highly don't recommend it. Now, as I mentioned before, we did a lot of filming and did several things. So I have a tripod review coming up from a tripod I got. We have the trigger cam, the new camera that I got on the 6 Creedmoor. We've got that coming up. And I have another gel test, which is the Apex Afterburners, which is a monolithic tipped bullet. So we'll dive into those next. But as always, everybody be safe out there. Happy hunting.
Hope you enjoyed this video, and make sure to hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and turn on notification bell so you won't miss out on any future video, and happy hunting.